Hello, so I'm making this video as an introduction to some exercises I want to do to improve my handwriting. The reason why I want to do this is that I've had some comments that my handwriting is quite neat and nice, but I think it can really be a bit nicer. And I think some of the keys to that are consistency in the letter formation. So consistency being consistent heights of letters, consistent tails of letters, letter formation, letter forms being consistent with each other, so that all the A's roughly look the same, all the G's roughly look the same, so on and so forth. And also having what was I going to say? I think having a good rhythm is also important in writing as well. So everything in life really seems to have a rhythm. So you know, the way we walk, the way we talk. Music obviously has a rhythm, martial arts has a rhythm, movements have a rhythm, dance has a rhythm, and I really think writing needs to have a rhythm as well, and that's going to be one of the key components in order to make my writing a bit nicer, I think. That's right. The other consistency in writing, I think, is the slant as well. So having all the, especially the ascending letters, having a uniform slant. I think so. Those are some of the key things that I think are going to make my writing neater. So I think to achieve that, I really need to do some practice. Now, the exercises that I'm going to be doing are from a website that someone on Google Plus Fountain Pen community posted up, so I think that was fantastic to share that resource. So it's called the Palmer method of business writing. Evidently, it's very similar to the Mills modern business writing. I think there's another textbook written about handwriting. So a lot of the things cross over. I don't know if they're supposed to be the same method or if it is supposed to be different or what the deal is there, but at any rate, I think the Palmer one was great because it's a website, and websites are just a whole lot more accessible. The other one, the Mills one, was a scanned document in PDF form, and it's quite hard to read. The text is very small. It's prints out on A4 in landscape, but doesn't take up the whole page. So it wasn't very nice to work off. So that's why I've chosen the Palmer method. And so I've started to review some of the lessons. I've got to admit, some of them I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do. It was obviously written a long time ago. From the impression I get is that dip pens were still very common. Now, I haven't actually even seen a dip pen in the flesh for myself, so I don't own one. I don't have any inclination to go out and buy one for this purpose, so I'm just going to use a regular fountain pen. So I'm not sure if some of the techniques are because of the dip pen thing. I'm going to see how it goes and see if I can adopt some of the suggestions that are made in that. At any rate, we'll get to that in later video diary entries. So what I wanted to talk about was perhaps how I'm going to go about putting into practice some of the things that I read. So obviously, material-wise, I've got the manual, I've got it all printed out, so that's going to be easily accessible. I've got it in quite a few formats actually on my phone, a document at work. Yes, that's right. Sometimes I look at things that aren't work-related at work. Now, and obviously the printout that I've already mentioned. So obviously we're going to need some paper to do this, and I've gone out and purchased this book. So this is just a relatively cheap book from a stationery store called Kiki K. So apparently they've got stores in New Zealand and Singapore as well. Whatever, I didn't think much of them, but I've got to say this book, which is just their basic range, it's impressed me. You know, I think this costs $10 and it's got like 196 pages or something like that. So anyway, so I've gone ahead and written in there. So this is the Palmer method of business writing. This is my journal and exercise book. So the pages in here are nice off-white colour, which is nice and easy on the eyes. And then as a first specimen of my writing now, so something that I can compare back with after I've done the exercises and tried to put into practice the Palmer method, I've gone ahead and done a bit of a writing sample there. So I'll just block the light off so you can see there. So my name, Keith, at the top, city I live in, date, very good. A set of capital letters, some random characters underneath that. I've just done numbers and a few symbols, and then it says there, and I'll just read it. A specimen of my best writing before I begin to practice muscular movement writing from the lessons in the Palmer method of business writing. The above was written in 4 minutes and 7 seconds. I don't know if that's fast. It's probably not, but you know, it was my best effort that I could come up with. So, so this is going to act as my reference point. So after I've done it, like I said, I can review this. Now, see some of the things here. Not sure if you can see that there. Camera wants to focus. Probably not. But, oh, there we go. So the slope's not always consistent there. I think some of my letter formations aren't consistent. See some of the G's, the tail on the G, the tail in begin. Whoops. Begin here, the G there. It's not consistent with the one in writing. So I think that G actually, I quite like that letter formation, but this one looks a bit. So I'm trying to look at the camera and it's all like mirror imaged or something. The G there, the tail on that, I think just looks a bit anemic. You know, so things like that, trying to get that consistent. You can see some of the other G's here in writing here. That looks all right, and the tail on the Y there in my looks all right. But you know, just a few things I think if I could tidy them up, it's really going to make my writing a whole lot neater and really just working on that consistency. And you can see some of the, you know, I'm not sitting on the lines on a lot of these words. Some of the letters are coming up off the line, things like that. So you know, that's what I really want to work on. I will make an excuse for myself. So I'm not sure if other people experience this, but for me, when I'm writing, especially in books, thicker books, as I get towards the edge of the page here, not so much on this side's not too bad out here, but on the edge here, I just find that crossover in the middle there, you know, my hand doesn't sit nicely on that. So again, that might be something that I could resolve with adopting some of the positioning that's suggested, the body positioning that's suggested in this Palmer method, and same thing here when you get to this big drop off edge, just you know, no support on the palm there. So that usually means the writing towards the edge tends to suffer. So anyway, that's the book that I'm going to be using, and in terms of writing instruments, if you can call them that. What have I got here? Okay, so I thought in order to really get a good feel for a lot of these exercises, I'd use a few different writing instruments. So this writing instrument, sorry, this is just a pencil. I think it's just a 0.5 mil lead pencil. So this is a Schaefer pencil. Nothing special, just a mechanical pencil there. And what else? And now I know some of you are going to think this is blasphemy, but I'm actually going to use a ballpoint pen as well. So again, just a simple twist action ballpoint pen. So I think the pencil, between the pencil and the pen, it's really going to allow me to see some definition in the writing, because you know, I'm not going to get any issues with any feathering or spread of the ink or anything like that. So that's the reason why I want to use the pencil and the ballpoint, and also that they move differently across the paper. So unfortunately, you know, I can't always use the fountain pen for everything. You know, particularly signing a lot of official documents these days really require the ballpoint, as tragic as that may sound. So that's why I want to practice with the ballpoint as well, and get a feel for that. You know, the ballpoints, they tend to slide all over the place. So I think trying to gain control would really help. Now, the other couple of writing instruments that I'm planning on using are fountain pen, so that's what I predominantly use. So this one here is just it's a Schaefer Valor fountain pen with a inlaid nib. So I'll do a bit of a close-up so you can see that. Just a very quick close-up for you. So this is, so just try to get the lighting right as well. Schaefer inlaid nib. Close up of my giant mitts. Pen. Very good. And cap. Okay, so that's just a standard medium point nib there. And then what else have we got? So then the other pen I want to use, because I thought it's going to be a bit of a different experience. Sorry, I'm still out of focus. That's alright. The pens are much nicer than my face. So the other pen I want to use is this Waterman here. So again, Waterman. So I think many of you will recognize this, being the Waterman Quran. Again, another inlaid nib. So just do it. Sorry, it's Quran boat. So yeah. Anyway, so this one actually has a factory stub nib on it, so that's going to give a completely different experience in terms of line variation, and I think the feel across the page is going to be different as well, just because of the you know, rounded edges, rounded corners on the nib. So that's why I want to practice with that. I'm just messing with lighting here. And my intention is to practice the exercises sorry, just put this away. My intention is to practice the exercises in the book, and you know, do one set of exercises with each writing instrument. So hopefully, using all four, I'm going to get a fair bit of exposure to the actual writing exercises, and really spending some good time focusing on a lot of the concepts that are talked about in this Palmer method. So that's you know, that's it really. That's I just really wanted to cover what I was doing here and what my intention is. And so I'm really hoping to be able to make a video diary entry after each week that I practice each lesson, and so hopefully after the course of the whole experience, I'll be able to look back and really compare how I am at this point in time compared to how I'll be in about 13 weeks. I think there's about 13 lessons. So yeah, that's it. I think this diary entry is done and dusted. Sweet. All right. Thanks. Bye bye.